Hey, welcome back to Let's Capital, where this week I'm going to show you a process of design that I'm currently working on. So if you are seeing this is something that we are currently doing, and I'm working on the design in terms of what we want to do with it. So right now I'm kind of drawing where those blue arrows are showing you where the water is going to flow. At this point in time, we do have some retaining walls that we have there, and I will put some of those pictures here in a little bit. That way you guys can see where those are. At the same time, if you are interested in knowing more about those kind of walls, gravity walls, then you can check out my video where I talk in more detail about them. And what they are useful, and some of the materials, some of the ideas that you can use for your own project. So that we kind of have that out of the way, I'll show you where I'm placing those walls that came with the design and that we're also going to be needing, and why they're going to be important for this specific project. Well, this specific project is located in essentially a hill where there's a forest, and because of this, the elevations are significantly great, and this needs walls in order to have water move away from the house in itself. As you can tell, the house is a little different than most houses. Even the property in itself is quite large, but because of this crazy elevation difference, a lot of it is not really useful. In fact, the side of the house or the front of the property is where there's going to be the most space, where it's going to be somewhat leveled. And because of this, the homeowner wants to keep the whole place looking pretty native. They don't want to mess with a whole lot of the area. They just want to make it blend. And so what this does is that we are going to be using a lot of the native stuff from this place or this specific area, like the native grass, some of the trees and shrubbery that's going to be able to grow well for this area. So you'll see how right now I'm kind of putting the area where you're going to have the edging for the native grass, especially in front of the property, also the side and the back. There are some trees already in the back part of the property, where we of course are going to leave them, and also we're going to be adding a little bit of greenery to this area, especially in the front of the house and a little bit around the house. That way at least you can have something to look at. Because of this specific area, the temperature in itself does change quite often from hot to cold. Something like it goes from say 70 degrees down to 20 degrees, especially in the winter time. There's certain things that you want to have in mind, and that is that the shrubbery needs to be from the same area so it actually survives this crazy climate that it has in this area. So right now I'm kind of drawing in where I'm gonna have the native grass going on, especially in the front, side, and also back. I'm also going to be adding some of those lines that will show you the high point of this property, which in this case would be on the top left corner, and on the opposite side, the right bottom corner is the lowest point. So I'm adding a little bit of texture. So some of the things I do want to talk about this one is some of the trees that are native to this area, which are going to be a lot of pines like ponderosa pines and pinyon pines are native to this area. So because of this, one of the suggestions I had for the homeowners is if they still want to have some of the evergreen colors, which they can, having spruces are going to give them a different color. If you know anything about pines, you're going to have more of that just classic green that we think of evergreens, and if you want, spruces are going to give you some of those blue greens. So in the front right now there is no trees, so suggesting something like say a baby blue eyes, a baby blue, a black hill spruce, a Colorado blue spruce, all those are going to give them different colors, especially for this area. So things like those are things that I would want to add. Also, they do have a small dog, and what they want to do is this dog have a space for itself. So right now I'm adding this portion where it would be synthetic turf for their small dog, and that way it can be fenced in, so if the dog needs to be outside or wants to be outside, they can let him out and he can be there. So there's going to be a fence that's going to start from the corner of the house, and it's going to go and connect with this wall. This wall over here is 48 inches, not all of it, but a lot of it is. So it's going to go right next to it, so it's going to allow for this in case a dog to stay in this portion and not be able to escape or anything else get in here. So right now I'm adding where the rock is going to be at around the house. There seems to be a lot, but in fact it's not as much because this property is so big, a lot of it is going to stay native, as you can kind of see over here. So I'm going to start adding some of those shrubs and trees. On trees, things like aspens, things like a Rocky Mountain maple are going to work well, which I'm also going to be adding to the front of the house. At the same time, this area for the dog, one of the ideas is that if the homeowners are there, they can walk down to the sidewalk there. So we also are going to add stepping stones. So you see how much just adding some of the shrubbery that would work for this area. And also I'm going to be adding right now the fence. Those lines do represent the fence. Of course, right now I'm not putting all of my tags for them, but I am explaining to you, that way you can understand what is what. This circles in the back, those do represent the existing trees, specifically the pines and their location. It does look a little random, just the way it looks really fast, but they are there. Later I can maybe put some pictures about this project. Maybe even when we complete the project, I can show you a drone video, which in fact is what I'm doing over on my TikTok account. If you guys want to check that out, you guys can, over on Landscape Builder on TikTok. So right now I'm going to go back to this where you saw some of the steps. I'm going to go from the front to this fenced area. I'm adding some shrubs, things like poinsettias, asperias, and even some junipers like a carpet juniper that's going to be able to spread out. Also some grasses. I like using grasses because they look good in my opinion. Of course, not everybody likes them, but I do. So I'm adding a lot of grasses, especially on the side of the driveway, because this is a very long driveway and it just makes it look even better. At the same time, adding a path to this native area is going to allow for them just to walk to this area if they wanted to, and just kind of potentially later on build a different space. They are going to be needing more walls if they do decide to add, say, like a patio back there because of the area and the slope that they do have. So right now I'm just adding a bit more of shrubs to the sides of the house, just to kind of give it some more color. But what do you guys think about all this? Is this something that is helpful for your projects? Let me know in the comments. Let me know if I should be adding something different to my videos, or maybe even more information in terms of shrubbery and trees and so forth. Again, this is an exercise that I'm using for my ideas, but at the same time, this is a real project that I'm going to be working on. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, and of course, don't forget the motto here, which is Dream, Design, Create, and I will see you guys on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.